challenged Jayden this summer, and where did you see him maybe respond most or impress you the most?
Well, I mean, Jayden is pretty self-motivated. One thing about him too, I know it's been documented, but he's extremely hard on himself, which most really good quarterbacks are. He didn't need a lot of extra motivation to continue to improve and build on some of the things they did really well for us last year and through the spring and through some of the things that we know we need to continue to get better on. He has really good awareness. I mean, I think that's really important at this position, any position, to have awareness of the things that we know we got to work on and get better. And overall, I think just for him, just continue to build connection with his teammates and utilize his voice. So really happy with where he's at right now.
He's got such a great arm, obviously. I know you guys threw downfield. It seems like a lot more when he became the quarterback over Miller. What is it about just the way he can throw the deep ball that you feel like really fits in this offense? And does that maybe unlock something else in this offense coming into this season?
Well, the first thing is he can throw a football really far, And obviously when you are throwing verticals and posts and all those different type of routes down the field, getting a feel for the different type of receivers you're throwing to and getting experience and banking reps with those guys, whether it's something that's going to be a throw over the top or a back shoulder. But certainly, most young quarterbacks, when you dream of playing the position, you don't grow up like, I can't wait to throw bubble screens, slant routes. Slant routes are great, set up double moves. But anyway, obviously, he has a big arm, and he's really improved in understanding, throwing the proper trajectories and getting the timing and understanding of each player and how they can, impact throws down the field.
Does that make it, when that is such a strength of his, does that make it even harder to step in when he did last year? He didn't have as much chemistry, probably, I would assume.
Yeah, and I think, too, as Jayden has grown in this system and as he's continued to learn Coach Riley's a play caller, he's definitely getting a much better feel of, those plays are going to come in this offense. We're going to have explosive plays that look at the history of this system in the last 10 years. It's well documented how many explosive plays we have there. Okay, let's just take what's there as well. And I think, he took some giant strides this spring and just understanding, all right, it's okay to take the single, as we refer to it as a shorter route when it's open, especially when it's early on in the progression, knowing that in this offense, big plays are going to happen.
Is it more common that you have to teach a guy to take the single, or that you have to teach a guy to, let it go and throw deep downfield?
I think naturally always, quarterbacks typically want to be aggressive down the field, specifically when you look at the type of skill sets that we have at receiver. And when defenses want to leave those guys one-on-one. We definitely feel like we do a great job of exposing defenses that do that. And so naturally quarterbacks, when you get in that situation, yeah. But, for us, each play call, each scheme has a specific design. And obviously when you get into, situational awareness, okay, what down is it? Okay, what are we trying to accomplish on this certain play call? Usually it lends to, all right, this one we're going to err on being more aggressive, or, hey, we're calling this play, this is where our progression starts. If it's there, take it. So I think just his overall general understanding of the system and being comfortable in it and learning Coach Riley and how he calls a game, I feel like he's taking great strides in that direction.
Outside of this really great arm talent that he has, what is it about Jayden you feel that makes him complement this offense so well?
He's got great toughness. I think, when you talk about a quarterback's DNA, the term resolve is important. And you look at a few situations that he was in last year where things necessarily didn't go our way, for example, the bowl game, and being able to battle back and string together two great drives to help us win the football game. So I think he has some of that mental toughness component of all right, regardless of how the play went or the previous series went, we're going to go back in there, continue to be aggressive, hopefully learn from those mistakes and move on. So I think that's a great attribute of him. And, he's definitely earned the respect of his teammates. And our entire quarterback room has, because I think we have a room of guys that really, really work and live, the core values of this program. And have certainly done a good job of elevating their voices to hold their teammates accountable. But I think he's definitely earned the respect of not just the offense, but the whole football team with the way that he competes and just with the way that he attacks everything he does day in and day out.
You talk about just the benefit of seeing him going from last season kind of hoping that he can compete for the starting job to now assuming the starting roles? What have you kind of seen how that's benefited him in the offseason preparation?
Well, I just think, just utilizing his voice and connecting with teammates and taking on some of that ownership and just some of the communication things that you see out there in practice or some of the summer training stuff, just some of the things that you hear verbally from him to his teammates that a year ago, wouldn't have been in that situation or may not have felt comfortable in that situation. But as he continues to master this system and this offense and feel comfortable with it, it's been fun to watch his growth from that standpoint and helping his teammates, whether it's a route depth or a certain route technique or timing or some type of pre-snap communication. That's where you've just seen a lot of growth, from last fall to spring to now, where he's at.
Yeah, you talk about he's very hard on himself, and that can very easily, that be a detriment to a player. How
No
are you
question.
guys kind of instilling that keeps his confidence up? Whether
Just keep your chin up and move on to the next play. It's really not there's no magic formula to it, but wipe it off. And Coach Riley does an amazing job in game and even in practice situations all right, it's time to move on, turn the page, learn from it, let's go, get on the next play, next series. He's done a much better job of just staying composed and just making sure, okay, if play didn't work out exactly how we wanted to, let's fix it. Okay, let's fix it and then move on. And that's a maturity thing too going on. And the good thing about a quarterback like that, as you start working through those type of situations is you never have to worry about complacency or, I got this. It's always looking to try to find ways to keep doing things better and better each day.
And that confidence has been raised within himself as well too?
I think there's no question about it. It has for sure.
Was there a moment like that you found him stewing over, especially last year, that even if you try to tell him, hey man, move on, it was harder for him to get over?
I don't think, I understand the question. I don't think there's a specific moment where it was just like that one moment. I just think there's been a gradual improvement from that area of him just moving on to the next play and learning from it and going. And obviously the goal is to continue to cut out some of those plays. And that's obviously the big step that he's taken now as far as eliminating some of those plays that may put him in that position. But certainly seen the growth, just from a maturity standpoint and handling adversity and going on and keep working towards achieving the goal of moving our offense down the field.
With Jayden, would you say those turnovers are more the fact of him pressing or just the understanding of the offense being raised that should help him?
I think there's always a combination of both. Yeah, I think in every one of those scenarios you learn from them. And I think for us too, it's like our practice habits. Let's attack each rep in practice like it's the game. And really just playing with a tremendous amount of discipline. But certainly as you gain more and more experience in the system, you've banked reps with certain calls. You may get a look or something present itself, and it's all right, I've seen this. I know how now to respond to this or move on to the next piece of the progression. So I think it's all a combination.